So,
all right, thank you. Oh no, you
listen,
got it.
hold on, y'all. First of all, I grew up. I'm the statistic, right? I'm the nigga that's not supposed to be here. I'm the nigga who mom was gonna abort him but didn't because the doctor said no. I'm the nigga who father went to prison when he was 7 and didn't get back out till he was grown. Right? That's my family, right? That is not a representation of what most black people was going through. Most black people wasn't going through the shit that I was going through. Most of y'all wasn't going to visit y'all goddamn father in prison when y'all was 11, 12, and 13 years old. Right? There's a difference between what I went through and the shit that was happening with most black people. And in the 80s, because that's the part that you never want to talk about. Right? You either got something pejorative to say or you want to move on from the conversation because maybe you don't either remember or you weren't around back then. But I'm going to say this again. I would like you to speak to that, and then I'll let it go if you don't want to speak to it. I'm just going to chalk it up until you don't have enough information.
Breaking news, y'all. I have breaking news. So, I don't know. It just came across my timeline. So, President Trump revoked Biden's security clearance and his intel briefing.
What is that? Wait. Say it again.
So, President Trump has revoked Biden's security clearance as well as his intel briefing.
Yeah,
He's not the president anymore. So, exactly.
One person talking.
Wait, hold on.
But Biden let him keep his.
Biden did the same thing to Trump when he was president. And typically, it's deferential treatment that presidents give to other former presidents to give them access to the briefings as well as security clearances. But Biden was the first president in modern history to revoke Trump's security clearance and access to the daily briefings. And so Trump is just repaying.
You think that might have had anything to do with all of the things that Trump was doing? All the illegal things he was doing? You think that might have had anything to do with it?
I don't think so.
It had the same thing to do with the fact that that Biden engaged in ordering his family
his son,
for the first time in American history. So, maybe the two are correlated.
They're both doing illegal shit. But look, hear me out. I want to say to the brothers and the sisters in this room, we all agree that the media had a negative self-image of black men. And not all black women, but some black women ate it up and believed in it. And so there's nothing to really argue about. You know what I'm saying? Like, Concrete made an excellent point. JP made an excellent point. I'm following it up. I agree. You know what I mean? It was definitely a tailored negative self-image of the black man that was being projected to us. That we all are one way, that we all are criminals, that we all are thugs, and it's not true. And the reality is that we all faced certain kind of treatment based on how they wanted to criminalize us within the system. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah. But I don't think y'all should be arguing over this shit. It's stupid because we all know what we seen. We all grew up, and those of us from America, we seen it. So what is there to argue about?
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going in cigar lounge. So I don't agree with that. And so when I start naming things, that's why I asked him earlier to put a time on it, put a timestamp on it. So I can put a timestamp on it because what we doing, we say this, I've heard older black people say this to kids, right? Younger black people or teenagers. And they eating this shit up because they don't want to, you know what I mean? They don't know. Fuck it, I'm 21 and you 52. I guess you're supposed to be. But when you go look at the different portrayals of black people, right, outside of rap music, it's positive. And then people don't want to have that conversation because then you would have to litigate, you would have to settle with yourself that some black people were attracted to that nigga drug dealer shit, right? And that's why they influenced you because you thought it was the coolest shit in the world. Not because it was the other media wasn't positive. That's because that's what you gravitated toward. At the same time, we had rap music in the 90s. We had all of these great TV shows. You remember what happened at the end of Martin, bro? What happened at the end of Martin? Martin and Gina got married. That's what happened at the end of that show.
Wait, but
I mean, I can name all of the endings and all the rest of the damn shows. It was all positive too. Nobody died.
Someone gave up. At the same time,
I think you're arguing with different points.
I don't think he's still the okay, I don't think
in the car. She squeezed it to death with her.
Can you hear me or
yeah, I can hear you.
I think Concrete said, I think here's the thing. Since we do know that not every single black man commits crime, and not every single black man is super innocent, whatever the case is. But I think that what he's saying too is like he's right. We can't sit here and ignore it. I get what King's saying, but we all know that. He's talking about it. You know, I'll say this.
How do we get back here?
Yeah, no, there was a brother I spoke to. He said that I think he was in Philly. He said that it's at a point where black women now are acting like melanated white people. You know what I'm saying?
Melanated white people.
The
fuck?
But I think that to the point, everybody experiences different stuff. So I think
What the fuck are people even talking about nowadays? Doesn't make any sense. Just making shit up.
You may not experience certain things. So I think both sides are valid.
I just want to quote my mom and say, I think you're making shit up. Since my mom ain't wrong.
Yes.
She ain't wrong.
Clearance. And whoever brought up it was because of what was going on, the investigations. Yes, it was.
Bunny rabbit.
Now, presidents do receive intel briefs. They still maintain their clearance to receive those intel briefs because you got to take into consideration what they did during their presidency. There can be it could jeopardize their life. Because they still are
jeopardize their life
to make certain decisions or to like you might send like with Biden, he might have another president speak to a dignitary like they would use Jimmy Carter. Like that is why the presidents need to maintain their clearance. But if a president has classified documents in his bathroom and is sharing top secret information
in his
Minister, New Jersey, because that is a problem, right? So there is a reason why his clearance was revoked at the time. He still received information if his life may have been in danger. That is why he knew about Iran possibly making threats on his life. That is why he may have known certain information that he would reveal to the public. But it was just to protect himself. They were not giving him information that he can use and give away to foreign adversaries. Okay?
Hey, so Patty, let me ask you this then. I'm not really super, well, let me not get into all that, but I want to ask you this then. So what Trump is doing, and like you were saying, that it's somewhat making an enemy out of every other nation. What do you think is going to come out of that?
What do you mean?
So there's been talk in regards to the stuff with Canada. Obviously, we see what's going on with Mexico. And a lot of people are speaking and saying that, damn, he's making an enemy out of every other nation to a point where America's, not America, but everybody outside of America is going to invade America due to a lot of the bullshit that's going on. Is that a factual thing you believe or no?
I don't think anyone's going to invade America. Now, if we invade certain countries, I don't think we're going to have the support of our allies like we did before.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, who's saying that? Where are you getting that from?
Well, I've heard a lot of different Clubhouse. I'm just bringing.
You talking about on Clubhouse?
Wait,
right?
My bad. I'm just asking. Damn.
I'm just asking you. I'm just asking.
I'm just saying. Okay, look. I'm just saying because I heard from a lot of different folks. I heard multiple times, so I'm thinking, okay, you know what? This room is kind of focused more so on that, like policies and things like that. So I was just asking. But my bad.
Okay, I was just asking what your source was. If you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. I just asked where your source was. What your source was.
She was just asking. It's just maybe he didn't. Maybe like sometimes I talk stern and then people think I'm being like really. She's just asking love. Okay.
When you talking to me, Patty, all the time. I'm just joking.
All right, Kai.
And can we all agree that Trump is like 5 years old, and so he has tantrums and acts out? Like, do we not? I'm not surprised he would do that to Biden.
Have y'all seen
Deborah? You should have known based on what he said, but his.
You went in the Matrix, CEO. What'd you say?
Good. I said, based on what he said, you should have known his source.
Bro, like I said, I've heard it around. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to see what y'all do. That's it. I'm not saying it was factual. That's what I was asking.
CEO, believe it or not, you went out again in the same spot. Say it one more time.
I said, based on what he said, you should have known his.
Right, that's what
Damn,
I'm saying.
CEO, that wasn't necessary, man.
Yeah, I literally said, bro,
Bro, don't take the bait, bro. Don't take the bait, bro.
No, listen, I literally said I heard on Clubhouse.
Look,
I said,
stop. Look,
what the fuck?
you just asked a question. Obviously, we know everybody. However,
I swear to God, if I had known that's what CEO was saying, I wouldn't have asked him 3 times. I literally couldn't hear it. It kept going out.
The spirit of Otis and Goat.
We know how people receive information, where they receive information. Like shit, a majority of Americans are freaking receiving information off of social media. CEO, Roya.
Yeah, I was
just
literally
an example.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Shit, you know what? I've had like off Clubhouse. I've had conversations with someone, and they'd be like, "Girl, I seen it on TikTok." And these are people with degrees.
Right, like if I'm asking a question,
so like,
asking. Fuck.
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's okay, Roya.
No, I don't like that. Like, how you gonna come at me? I literally said I heard all.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, Roya. We know a lot of y'all are getting your information off of social media.
Right, but
y'all are not researching.
Okay, look, Patty, listen. If you're doing a lot of the research, you know a lot of the stuff that's going on. If people are asking, like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" I mean, why not provide? Shit. Let's talk about it. I mean, I don't know why.
So Roya, just for clarity, I wasn't coming at you. It's Friday night.
Yes, you
I was joking around. It's Friday night.
Yeah, Roya, CEO's usually a cool dude. He's just got that spirit of Otis and Goat channeling through him right now. So you gotta forgive him and let it pass.
I wanted to say something about this whole going to war thing. I keep hearing this. I'm really only hearing this on Clubhouse. So a few years ago, this is public information. There's not nothing I'm like telling y'all that you can't go look up, or you probably even heard it before. We moved from a smaller brigade combat team style, right, where you send about 200, 2,500, 3,500 people somewhere.
Oh, love.
And they're gonna do their thing. For the last 6 or 7 years, we have changed to fighting or preparing to fight large scale combat operations for a sustained amount of time. That's what we've been preparing for and training for, right? So instead of, one brigade combat team going and they rotate with the other brigade combat team, you're talking about a whole division or two, which is about 10,000 motherfuckers going somewhere and preparing to be somewhere for a long ass time if they got to be somewhere, right? So ain't nobody trying to invade no damn America for the principal reason that it's more guns than people in this country. That's the principal reason. If you go listen to Shrek, John McFay, and some of these other forces dudes, that's what they scared of. They scared of coming over here and having to deal with the American people. On top of the fact that we can train our soldiers whenever we want to, anywhere we want to, right? So that's the thing. It's the people in all these fucking guns.
Just not anywhere we want to. We have to have access agreements. There are countries we don't have access agreements, and sometimes they'll let us in and they will send us the fuck out in a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just don't go anywhere to train.
So look, my question is to those that are military on the stage.
Hey, Patty, what do you mean by? I'm talking about in the continental U.S. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, got it.
What does the United States trade from Ukraine? What was the business relationship between them and Ukraine under the Biden administration? What did the United States need from Ukraine that was so important?
Huh?
The United States has trade with Ukraine.
Huh is right.
So what I'm asking is, what resources? What is it that they have needed from Ukraine?
So check this out. So I think we've been talking about this for freaking months, man. It's not so much of just what we need. It's a global need, right? It's the bread basket. It's the energy that they provide. Let's pretend that Russia does get Ukraine, and that's it, right? What does negotiation tactics look like, right? When it comes to like who that bread basket feeds, like how energy is supplied to Europe. So you got to remember when it comes to strategic alliances or certain things that we do as a nation, we're doing it because we're also, not only are we supporting our allies, we're trying to keep our own country safe. You know what I'm saying, King?
I would also add to just go read. We got a new SecDef that was appointed. Go read the last SecDef. And this well, he ain't published his yet, but the last two SecDef's strategic plan, which they published, I think they got like 100 days to publish it when they get appointed to that position. Just go read them plans and it'll tell you all that, why they're doing.
They got 100 days. You are correct.
Yeah, they'll tell you. And that strat plan, and then there's another plan that comes out the strat plan, which I think it's defense plan, and the strat plan comes out of that. But or I might be mixing it up. Help me out, Patty or ladies, if y'all know. But when the defense plan comes out, the strat plan comes out, and then once that strat plan comes out, it's kind of like telling you, okay, this is where we at. Like, okay, 2 strat plans ago, they was talking about China's 2040 plan, because they definitely have a 20, but now they got a 2050 plan. But like, it seemed like every 10, 15 years, China get a new plan that they trying to, like, I don't know, not take over the world, but they want to be a world dominant power. That's what they want. So every fucking 15 years, they upgrade this plan. So the last 2 strat plans was kind of talking about how they're going to not usurp China's authority, but make sure they are put in their place. Make sure they understand what the fuck this really is. In a nutshell.
Why
do you think they?
Wait. So just so y'all are aware, okay? So we do have men that are modded, right? If one of these ladies come off a mic and they got a green bean, y'all got to give them way to have that conversation, because we have entrusted in them to freaking lead this room when we're not around. So whoever, and it sounded like a female voice. And LaVon, she's not green bean, but LaVon is green beaned every now and then. And she does try to hold, she tries to hold conversations so that in case we're not around, all of us work here, okay? And we want to share, we want to be able to share the space. The same way Lisa's trying to share her space. We want to share our space with y'all so that we can have conversations, or we can debate with Roya when he brings up social media, news without full context. Instead of like beating him up, like, let's beat up the point. That way he can understand, and him not just going away with, I don't give a fuck what they say, right? And I'm working on myself, because sometimes I get so upset because I expect everybody to know what I can consider basic information. But I'm working on myself, so when y'all catch me doing that, I don't care if you got a green bean or not. Just be like, yo, Patty, calm down. Because I'm going to tell y'all to calm the fuck down. All right? But go ahead, babe. Whoever said break it.
Thanks for that clarification, Patty, and then we can go back if they want to that previous topic. I just saw where Elon Musk tweeted, rest in peace, CFPB. And for those of you who don't know, that's the Consumer Finance Protection Board. And Scott Besson, I think he's the treasurer, and he's acting director of a lot of these agencies. He's put on pause the CFPB, and that organization helps the consumer against big banks, fraud, predatory lenders, cleaning up your credit. I mean, I have used that agency to get things removed from my credit report that the credit bureaus didn't want to remove. And you have to wonder, why is Elon Musk wanted this particular agency to be shut down? I don't think they can legally do it because Congress decreed that agency exists. I think that came in existence in the Obama era. But Elon Musk, I think he's going after some type of like payment wallet. I think he was one of the original ones in PayPal, and then he sold it. But he's going after some type of payment wallet. And I think he's trying to not have that entity that he's creating under the scrutiny of the CFPB. And I think that may be why he is championing to get it closed, which right now, for all intents and purposes, is on pause. It ceased to exist right now. That's the breaking news.
So I do want to real quick, Dr. AG, I love you, babe. So Anne is on the stage, and then I don't want anybody to attack her points if you don't agree with it. And it's not going to be a bully. It's going to be one-on-one. So If you can't hang in the fight, if you don't agree with her information, then fucking step back and allow one person to have a conversation. And I promise certain people is, I'm not saying I'm a black woman, okay? And I ain't losing my blackness just because I want to have conversations with white people. It's because I want to understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to say white people because you are, you're not white, and from what you said. But I want to have conversations with people that don't agree with me. I think Lady does. I think Dr. A.G. does. And I'm just naming the people. Deborah, Finn, all of us want to have conversations with other people that don't agree with us. We have men, mods, so that they can, like, also make sure that you men don't come up here and act crazy. But I'm telling you, when these women speak, and you guys are going to respect what they say. And they're not going to disrespect you and beat your ass up. But I'm going to tell you, if it's some racist shit, if it's some racist shit going down, we ain't going for it. Your ass is going to be banned. We don't give a fuck at this point. If you call one of the females in here a bitch, you're out. And that's it.
I just want to follow up on what LaVon said about the CFPB. And in fact, yeah, it was legislated. It was part of the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010. So it is actually a congressional act. I was just following up on that. Which means that he can't just snatch it away. Right.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
But they've always tried to underfund that agency. It's not just Musk. Trump, in his first administration, wanted to undermine that agency also, and it kind of and the person they appointed, because remember the person at that agency, they had made that person resign initially, and the person resigned way before the end of their term. You remember that when it happened during the Trump first administration? So they've always been out for this agency from the get-go, because big business doesn't like that agency because it meddles in the... It's like the Labor Relations Board and all the other things that really pass all the regulations and investigate businesses. So that's why they don't like the CFPB.
And the Supreme Court did say that the president could remove
What up,
the
Zach?
director.
Happy pre-Shabbos. Motherfucker, I'm here recording the dumbest motherfucking people on the planet. I hope you enjoy my show. This is called the Dumb N-Word Hypnosis Trump TDS Room.
Because they tried to say that the agency was unconstitutional, but they can remove the director, but they said that the agency was legal and could legally operate.
Right, but Dr. A.G., you and I know that, but they're acting as if that they can shut these down, even though these are congressional acts. And
congressional acts, man, they can't stop us. He can't do this. It's illegal.
With the Trump,
hey, you're a racist, Zach. You're a white supremacist.
Yeah.
But the CFPB is really, and I might be wrong, so somebody could correct me, but the CFPB is only tangentially connected to the Treasury. It's really
it's
under
tangential.
the Federal Reserve, if I'm not mistaken. So that makes it a little harder for them to intervene, I think, because
make it
the Federal Reserve is independent.
Harder.
But I get what you're saying.
I think
these boundaries and borders don't
you are going into a deep hypnosis within a deep N-word hypnosis. You are being conditioned by N-word hypnosis.
Oh yeah, they said that. I don't.
Welcome to the dumbest people on Clown House. I give you your Friday night N-word hypnosis.
No, that is not good.
Explain.
You absolutely not a good thing.
No,
you don't make enough money for them to come after you.
Please.
Because they only go after.
That's not the point, though. I mean, how, this is the craziest thing. How are we going to have rules?
We have to resist now. We must organize and resist now.
Like, that's what our taxes pay for. We can't.
What about bonds?
Like, oh, we don't want to.
Bonds? Motherfucking concrete is a bond salesman now.
Bonds are made. Who's going to regulate them? You can't do that. Like, you need some revenue agency.
All these fatties
for
are
the
like
government.
messaging me on Bumble. And they're writing these big essays because my shit says, what do you want to accomplish this year? And then as soon as they send me their message, I just delete them.
Exactly what I
Because
said.
they're so
And then
fat and old.
what I said.
Well,
And if you left
the
all
regulation.
I find it kind of funny that fat, really fat, ugly people on Bumble like think that you're gonna. I mean, it's kind of like me trying to get with a hot chick, but the difference is like if you're a fat liberal and you're trying to get with me, it's a little different. It's like you have two negative strikes against you. You're fat and ugly, plus you're a liberal.
In their capacity to generate their own revenue.
There's getting with a hot chick, but then there's also like being a complete troll. And I think that you might not be able to get, you might not get with a 10 or a 12 or a supermodel, but I think that sometimes you see these people who they're like, they're saying, I'm ready to date. And you want to say to them, listen, you're not ready to date.
This decent looking chick just messaged me. She wrote, guess a number 1 through 100. I wrote 10. Then she wrote, what's your favorite memory from when you were 10? Oh, playing outdoors. With neighbors. Her name is Lily. She's a yogi. Ugh, she has kids? Ugh. 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 Oh man, it's so funny talking to these chicks that have kids because it's like if you go out with them, you're like, so tell me about your ex-husband, and they're like, well, we're still very civil, we're good friends, and we share the kids, but I'm just not attracted to him anymore, basically. And then you're like, so now you're back on the dating apps trying to fuck more men, but you don't want to have kids, right? No. I'm just looking for a sugar daddy. Oh, okay. It's just so funny. It's like, I don't know. I mean, if you're really hot and you have a kid, I will go out on a date with you. If you're like not hot, I mean, it's definitely not happening either way. But anyways, I'm just saying that. I just find it so funny talking to women that have children because it's like they don't know how I feel about them, just on averages. So it's like I'm totally indulging them, but never telling them the truth that I have absolutely no interest in having a serious relationship with you at all. That's your ex-husband's job, who you decided to have children with. Maybe you should go to therapy or read a book and figure out why the fuck you're a piece of shit to your husband. That's what I'm saying. But nobody does.
You don't come because all your income is right. If you have other income, blah. But businesses and people who entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
Oh, she's got a daughter. Oh, great.
It allows you to,
And then it's like, you want to go out on a date, you live 30 miles away. It's like, bitch, you better drive to me. No, can we meet halfway? No. All right, then not going to happen.
It's a good thing. Yeah, it's not really a good thing for you. It's a good thing for them. Because in the
But then you got fat chicks that have dogs or cats, and you're like,
it's further in debt because
maybe you should be at the gym instead of spending all your time picking up poo and pee and grooming. I mean, are you like a single mom yet with kids and a husband to take care of a dog? No. Well, that's why you don't have any kids. That's why you don't have a husband, because you're busy spending all your time with your dogs or your cats.
Worst enemy. But the other thing is those taxes pay for a lot of things. They pay for defense. Like, what is going on? If we did not, how would we support the military?
I love how these farts are never like anti-military industrial complex. They have no idea that all their fucking money is going to funding the fucking bureaucracy of the military. Again, these are the dumbest people in the world. They're like flip-floppers. 1 second they hate Trump, and then the next second they say, why aren't we supporting our military? They're so stupid. Next thing you know, Medicare, Medicaid's going to come up, and now they're going to support the doctors. They just don't understand priorities. As like political revolutionaries, they're the worst political revolutionaries ever because they're technically welfare whores. Also, anyways, you get it. She's fucking talking on both sides of their mouths all the time. We're talking about nothing.
We need revenue to support and sustain those systems. People don't care about this.
No, we don't. We can just keep borrowing. I bet you they'll never talk about the borrowing. Just watch.
What will happen to the national reserves that we have for...
What reserves, bitch? The country's $40 trillion in debt, you dumb motherfuckers!
Are you gonna pay for that?
Pay for what? We're broke!
There's not enough real estate taxes. You can look at the 50 states. You can go online right now and look at the state of the 50 states. They charge real estate taxes.
I am
there are
about
states
to
in this
leave
country
this
for
FYI,
every
Zach. I
dollar
am
they
headed to the
send
gym.
back, they send to the federal government, they get a
Oh,
dollar.
Darren Shaw, BSC! Turn up! He's in the house! Welcome to the house, Darren!
They may get 50 cents back. Right? Because that revenue is spread across the remaining state.
Oh,
so
shit.
There are some states, it doesn't matter how much real estate taxes they put in, how much tax, like they will not be able to sustain the public good. Roads,
sustain!
It's not just about your personal income.
Oh, and Hero in the house. Hey, Ann.
Places beyond just personal income.
Right.
Sorry, real quick. I'm saying, Dr. JKG, what is
welcome to Dumb N-Word Hypnosis, Trump TDS. I'm live streaming a room of bad ideas. Or no ideas, technically, no matter how you want to look at it. They dumb.
The Trump administration.
They real dumb.
Shuttering the commune.
Now, some people may disagree and say they aren't dumb. They're...
And then people talked about, and then it was mentioned that was in Project 2025, and so is the shuttering of the IRS. And so
shit, we gotta keep funding the IRS. They're my best friend.
So that's what we're talking about. That's how we got here.
So look, Doctor,
bitch, you 48, unmatched. Bye. Should have figured out your dating life sooner before you got old and ugly.
He's planning to replace it with the ERS. External revenue service.
It's like everybody here works for the IRS or something.
What does that mean?
I'm trying to answer your question. You asked.
Okay, please define. CEO, stay on your mic, please. Let me just try to get some clarity.
So everything that you said about how the tax system works now, he's replacing that with tariffs, basically taxing other countries to get the same. Yeah, basically.
You can't.
Making the other countries.
You can't do that.
To the United
That's
States.
illegal.
Do you know
how that's gonna affect the economy?
I'm not saying that it's my idea.
It's not my idea, man. That's Trump's idea. But don't you know what that's gonna do to the economy?
Which is what we do now. They're gonna replace that with taxing other countries.
No.
I ran the numbers on this.
Oh, Dr. CEO ran the N-word numbers.
Every single country we trade with. So not real.
CEO, I ask you, just
mute up.
Okay, I got a headache.
Oh shit, she got a headache?
So nobody realistically believes.
She capitulating. She don't know what to say no more.
Conservatives for years have campaigned on reining in government, specifically reining in spending, which allows for the U.S. government to reduce people's burden when it comes to federal taxes, income taxes. So you could reasonably expect that the president is making a very provocative play.
Provocative?
What he's going to do is he's going to force the issue of reducing the federal income taxes and offsetting that reduction on the burden on American people with a tax on imports from foreign governments, specifically the ones that we have a trade deficit with. So nobody's suggesting he's going to get rid of the IRS. It's more so dismantling it.
He just suggested it.
He's gonna get rid of the IRS. Oh no! What a terrible
What
idea!
TC saying is, we just got a briefing on this shit. So what TC said.
Give us the update. Give us the live. Give us the good.
Stop.
I'm in the military.
Wait.
He in the military.
We have done safety briefings. We have.
Umar. Oh look, it's Umar Abdul. Umar, hey Umar, welcome to the dumbest room in Clown House.
Okay.
Why don't you go in there and say something smart?
You're not gonna tell him
Umar was so upset that when the January 6th riots happened, people couldn't drive to the
I
shelters.
am an officer in the military, and I'm not telling you.
Oh shit, she an officer.
Hey now, okay, ma'am, I see you. Yes, I work.
Yes, ma'am.
That's one of my boys.
Your grade, baby.
Okay.
Man, she's sick.
First of all,
She a captain or she a major? Oh, she a colonel?
And
She a full-bird
I'm a
colonel.
non-commissioned officer, so you know, I work for a living.
Okay. Either E8 or E9. But regardless of that, so I am a senior logistics officer, so I do know that we have.
Sounds like you drinking vodka,
We have
bitch.
received first time messages, and we have had to brief soldiers. We have had to counsel soldiers.
Just gotta brief
on
the
what's
soldiers.
going on currently with the administration, right?
She's briefing the soldiers. What's currently going on with the administration?
Stop spreading rumors within each other about things that you hear, specifically these taxes thing. Because you got soldiers that
23, chapter 5, chapter 6.
Oh shit, she pulling out chapters now.
40 soldiers that's coming back from a deployment.
Policy letter number 1 through 10.
It's a jobs program, Zach. You probably don't know that about the military. It ain't about winning wars. It's a jobs program. You didn't know that. Because you never served. But when you serve, you realize, oh shit, who are all these people? What did they do here? Oh, it's a jobs program?
And I will say, I'm not gonna say for you. I'm not gonna say for you. For me, I am a black female.
Officer.
And I do sometimes I give grace, but I also
only God gives grace, you dumb bitch.
Show these people what you can do, right? And I know you probably do the same because you are.
Bitch giving grace for free.
Right.
Not only show what you can do, don't believe that anybody's better than you.
I give them the task, and I hope you give them the.
Yeah, hell yeah. You gotta prove that they better than you, and then if they prove that they're better, I just came from a best word competition, right?
Go to the gym,
or hosting one, right?
I know the best word competition. I know who. One of the people 1 through 10. He is a acquisition enlisted soldier.
Oh, okay.
He came from Fort
Houston.
Fort Knox. He was in
Fort
Hawaii.
Knox.
He is a 51 Charlie.
51 Charlie.
He has competed in the last 5 best word.
Yeah, we know who that is. Yeah, we know who that is, man. Jesus Christ. That's one of your soldiers.
Back to
Oh my God.
Yeah, our focus. 16th Amendment says that, establishes the federal income tax. So that cannot just be done away with.
What are you up
So
to
the
tonight?
agency, maybe, I'm not sure. I doubt it. So that's not a thing. And the XR, whatever that is, that totally doesn't make any sense. We cannot levy enough tariffs to equal the revenue that we generate from the federal income tax, and with the tariffs.
Never talk bad about the federal income tax or the IRS ever. Rule number 1 to the game.
Right? Tariffs don't just pour money into the treasury. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
And that's the reason why it doesn't make sense, right? This is the real reason why that doesn't make sense.
Francisco, welcome to the dumbest room on Clown House, Francisco.
Right, to be levied on.
You're gonna like this one.
What?
I know you were racist, so this is right up your alley.
MJ.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't a racist. I'm just documenting IQ and the inability to create math. These people don't know the truth of the earth.
That's okay.
What is the government gonna do for me? They keep giving away money to these foreigners.
Oh my God, you should do cartoon voices. Damn, that sounds like somebody else.
What do we hear? But you motherfuckers want fucking taxes reduced.
That was amazing. Really.
MJ, you sound like you. She sounded like you. I'm just teasing. You know, I'm playing.
But y'all want that?
I would do away with the.
What you want to say, Francisco?
God damn. I'm sorry. I had a brain.
What's going on?
I would do away with.
What do you mean what's going on? I'm documenting. I'm an anthropologist.
Other countries
making a movie about the N-word, the situation in the N-word, N-world. It's an N-word problem.
We can't support our infrastructure with the VAT. That's not how that works. We can't support our infrastructure with that.
So let me just add this.
No, and then you can look at the size of Germany and compare it. Like, come on.
So I used to actually practice VAT, international sales tax. So I can tell you a thing or two. 175 countries in this world have a consumption tax. So it's not bad, but the thing is, most countries have both. They have a personal income tax and a consumption tax. Do we really want both? You know, no. So yeah. So if we did Germany's system, we'd be paying more taxes because they pay both. So Germany's VAT rate, I believe, is 20%. Like most of Europe is 20%. And then on top of that, they have a personal income tax. What it is, I don't know
You're correct.
their personal income tax rate. You can Google it. But what I'm saying is a lot of people, that's why a lot of people come here to shop. But if you're buying luxury items, obviously Europe would be the place to shop. So depending on what you're buying, but in general, you know, people come from, you know, all over to shop here because, you know, we don't have a consumption tax. But before you're like, oh, we should have, you know, a consumption tax. Remember, we have sales tax, like in New York.
Born in 1920, and she was so old because she was having kids for 25 years. I mean, she's been there for a long time, you know. But
and also the people in the great grandmother's region, they have the familial person.
I mean, someone marrying 12-year-old girl, my moral ethical is just like to put you in their shoes, to put you in the shoes of the father of this girl. What do you
Okay, so to put you in the shoes of the father. Okay, no problem. So let me give you a scenario.
Yeah, the grandmas, yeah, she dresses. She really dresses provocative, but yeah, he's on a rant right now. I don't know. What y'all do there?
You think that he lost?
Just we have to be careful what we say.
Well, that's short-sighted. I mean, it's extremely short-sighted because there's a lot of countries that benefit from VAT, and they use VAT taxes to fund their government programs and public utilities and things like that. Not only that, but the United States is uniquely positioned to impose excise taxes and import taxes and tariffs on goods and services that come from outside the U.S. to contribute to the public coffers. For these reasons, you would expect a president that's, again, motivated by American business and American productivity, American production, to make it more difficult for other international players, especially ones that we consider to be adversaries, to compete against American businesses. So a tariff makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And income taxes on the U.S. residents, again, it's been a long-held position of conservative party and Republican candidates that they want to reduce the size of government and reduce the amount of government that's involved in everyday citizens' lives. So it makes perfect sense that you would issue a tax break and tax cuts for American citizens, higher taxes on imports. Listen, the president has the White House, he has the Supreme Court, and he has the.
TC, I'm sorry, because you're
TC, that would not work. You're talking about VAT and excess when it comes to like poorer communities. They spend most of their money on goods and services, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I want to ask a question. Hold on. TC, can you tell me one country that sustains itself on VAT alone and tariffs?
Yeah, but they're like the UAE.
We're not talking about somebody with oil.
They're like an independently wealthy nation.
Hey,
Like,
we went over this
let's
before.
can we have TC, I'm sorry. Can you? I want one person. So TC, can you tell me one other Western country that sustains its economy on that?
versus low IQ
So I think I gave an example of the UAE.
I know I said a Western country. A Western country.
Why do I need to choose? I don't.
Because that's what I'm asking you.
It's an anomaly.
Because
you can't use the UAE as an example.
Oh my God! Everybody, just everybody. Thank you. I want you to use a Western country because it's comparable, right? So we can at least be paid. So we can at least be comparing and using a comparable nation, right? To register this change that you're suggesting. That's why I asked for a Western country.
Doctor, what Western country is comparable to the U.S. in our GDP?
But what I'm saying, this is my point though, but if you're going to say we can look to other countries, I would like to at least get one that's fairly similar to us, like a Western industrialized country.
Well, again, I would point you to UAE. Why
they're not a Western industrialized country?
Stop.
This is crazy.
Because they have their own fees when it comes to and maybe CEO can talk on it because he does business with them. They have fucking different business and licensing fees than it does the United States.
And their social safety net is almost non-existent.
Exactly. And then when it comes to what their government invests in and their own sovereign wealth, it's fucking not the same as the United States. They have their own fucking oil. Like, I fucking drove down streets where you can see the fucking flames coming from, like, a fucking highway because they have oil revenues. We don't have that shit in the United States.
We do have that in the United States. And we have
we don't. We're not based off of what they have. Do you know these motherfuckers get a monthly stipend? Money.
Monthly stipends?
You know these countries. I'm gonna give you an example, and ML can chime in on this. ML's probably been to Kuwait City, and they're not.
Kuwait City.
They're not UAE. You know these motherfuckers get married and they get like a home. They get a home and maybe one story. They get another wife, they get a second story. They get a third wife, they get a third story. I've been in some of these homes where these motherfuckers got elevators. On top of that, they get fucking money monthly, and it's all coming from fucking oil revenues. So you cannot compare us to a fucking Middle Eastern country where they got fucking
monarchy. You're a monarchy.
A monarchy at that.
We got oil in Texas.
Well, it seems as though this country.
I think y'all missing what she's saying. So, hey, I guess maybe you gotta live through the experience. You have to live through the experience. The reason why, when you go to Doha City, when you go to Kuwait City, and you see them people walking around with 3 or 4 wives, and go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, because I don't want to go off. I don't want to go off into a whole discussion about the Middle East
and production capacity.
Back off. What you want? Eat back off?
No, see, because you're saying stuff that's just not true, and we're not dealing in fallacy.
You want something? Put it in the chat, baby.
We want to do like in
put it in the motherfucking chat, man. Keep hitting that button. I don't give a fuck. Fucking waste all your energy clicking.
Mentioned Germany, for example.
Click.
Specific reference point.
I ain't no gang.
Why are you continuing?
I ain't no bang.
You suggested that we could sustain ourselves
put it in the chat, baby.
Without the federal income
put it in the chat. Like I said, put it in the motherfucking chat. What you want? Put it in the chat first, baby. Put it in the chat. Maybe I'll let your ass up. Put it in the chat, man.
This is crazy.
Crazy for you.
Okay. So you said you didn't say that. Okay, so the conversation is moot, and I'm going on mute. Yeah,
so
somebody else can go. I'm just done.
DC, we took issue with the fact that you keep moving the goalposts and you keep but you're not staying within the parameters of the original discussion, which was that name a Western country that has a similar structure to ours, modern country, which is a democracy.
Okay, there isn't any. Let's
Hold
move
on. Let me finish.
There isn't any.
Yes.
So move on. Let's just move on. There isn't any. There's not a Western country like that. So let's just move on. Which was my point, saying thank you.
What do you need a Western country for? That's
Because we're a Western country.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You don't get it. You don't get it. You just don't get it.
Look like we don't have a UAE. We don't have a Kuwait. We don't have a.
They got what they got.
Something. They're VAT.
Those countries are independent nations. They have geopolitical affiliations, but they don't need allies. Pretty much, they do whatever they want to do. They buy whatever they want to buy. They independent.
Let me tell you something, Dr. AG. That little 5% that they charging in VAT, that's just a little bit of change. The motherfuckers don't even have to charge the VAT. And I know CEO does businesses in the within these countries. I know fucking ML because he's been in the military and he was a lieutenant colonel, so I know he had to have conversations.
He was a lieutenant colonel.
A lot of these people that are maybe the third, fourth, maybe 15th cousin of the goddamn royal family, these motherfuckers don't need the goddamn VAT.
I knew it was a job. I knew it got there to lose someone gave a bunny rabbit. Yes, she was
If you break it down from the top, first of all, the form of government is different. It's a monarchy, and they own all the oil wealth in the ground.
I make a point.
And so it's an unfair comparison. It should be made. But you have to compare it to Germany, England, Canada, and we're all under the same construct. We have that, and we have income tax. That's it, you see. To bring in other countries to have a different modality altogether is just insane.
Can I make a point?
You mean Western, you mean countries that their central banks are controlled by G?
Who said that? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it clearly.
Can't wait for my payday. Can't wait for my payday.
Has this S under the name. Go ahead and repeat it, babe. You said it the first time. Right. Nobody's gonna, like, we may be getting a little heated. It's just emotional because, we're off. But we're not gonna fight. We're just gonna fight the argument.
What's now? Oh,
I had something
I guess it wasn't relevant.
No, I was going to actually Google him for that anti-Semitism. No.
Hey, Scott. Hello. Multiple Western countries that don't charge income taxes: Monaco, Andorra, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Bahamas.
And what do these countries have in common, CC?
And that's also not the question she asked you.
Listen.
That's also not the question she asked you.
Hello?
Can I say something?
Listen, guys. Yes. Who said that? Said? Said, how you doing? How you feeling? That's good. You can speak after you cash in your pink ticket. Thank you. I appreciate you.
These countries have really small populations.
MJ, 1 second. I'm dealing with Mr. Sid. Mr. Sid, can you join the house, please? Thank you. Mr. Sid, are you there?
Yes, I'm doing.
Yeah, we can't hear people that have pink.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Did you hit the join the button? Join the room at the top.
And then you have to leave and come back.
No, he doesn't. I can see it when there you go. Thank you, Mr. Sid. Go ahead. How you doing? Speak.
I'm well, thank you. So I wanted to make a point about the UAE. This is a completely it's a nonsensical comparison to the US for a number of reasons. First of all, the US has a large part of revenues in the US go to social welfare and the military. The UAE has a population of only 11% of its population are citizens. The other 88 or 89% of people are all foreigners who don't qualify for a lot of benefits in the country. A lot of them are labor workers who work there and leave, and they're the ones who are providing the labor and the GDP to the economy. So you can't really compare with the U.S., which has a heavy debt on social welfare, and this is one of the main reasons you have to look at other Western countries who also have a heavy debt on the social welfare system. So the UAE doesn't qualify. The UAE also doesn't carry a military burden that the U.S. and other Western nations do, so that doesn't qualify. Also, it's a city-state, so a really small geographic area, which brings a whole different economic dynamic to what they need to do, what they need to produce, and how they need to sustain themselves. And that argument applies to the other places that were mentioned, Monaco, Bermuda, and these other small island states. So it's really
6 months and
apples to cigars compared to the United States to UAE or these other small nation states, primarily because of the
Uncle, look at Uncle Flo with the $45,000 motherfucking plan and shit. It's a big plan, dog. $45,000. Get the math out of here, man. That ain't the truth of the earth. Oh, fuck.
So it's really not a sensible comparison. So I just want to make that point.
Go ahead, Sid. Wait a minute, hold on. Go ahead, Sid. Yes.
Personally, I think it.
Child,
Yes,
I'm name. All right, Saeed. Sorry about that.
Glad you were
I like
able to
Sid,
cash in your ticket, and now you get applause.
Can you say it?
Cut it out. Stay focused. Respond.
Yeah,
Respond.
I'm happy to respond. So here's the thing, right? I'm not comparing the UAE to the United States, not even a little bit. What I said was, it is very reasonable for governments and countries to exercise taxes in other forms other than income taxes. And somebody else said, but I thought you said that the United States could sustain itself only on VAT taxes and tariffs. I didn't say that. What I said was, it's long been the stated position of the Conservative Party to reduce the burden on income taxes and reduce the size of government. And one could reasonably assume
Reasonability is not an option here.
The United States can follow the same path and start to enforce some of their taxes on incoming goods and incoming tourism, like VAT taxes and excise taxes and tariffs. There's another thing that the UAE does that the United States can exponentially expound on. The UAE is invested in its own commerce. The government itself has its own public-private partnerships, such that when you're engaging in private business in the UAE, you're also at the same time engaging in business with the government. The government is able to levy fees and even turn over a profit on public services and utilities because of the way that the UAE is set up. The United States has a very similar structure in place. You can look at the post office, the United States Postal Service. It's a public utility, but it's also owned by the government, but it's still a private company, public-private partnership. States engage in the same exact model. The state of Pennsylvania, you'd be surprised to learn, you can just Google it. The state of Pennsylvania owns all the liquor in the state of Pennsylvania. True story, I know because I'm a licensee holder. So when I have to go buy liquor for my locations, I have to go through the state of Pennsylvania because the state of Pennsylvania owns all the liquor. Douce, Hennessy, Grey Goose, Belvedere, Tito's, none of them can sell alcohol in the state of Pennsylvania without them first going through the state of Pennsylvania to list their products. So for those
TC, can you bring this back to the national level though? Because the state thing is confusing.
You went around
the chat. You can see it in the chat. People are confused. I'm just trying to moderate a little bit because people are saying they're not getting how we got here from a national comparison between the UAE and America, like how we got to Pennsylvania and the ABC.
Yeah, sure. What I'm describing is multiple ways that the U.S. government can engage in monetization to support its safety net, its public safety net, other programs that the gentleman just referenced outside of income taxes alone.
So you're saying that the U.S. could that the country could implement a system. Okay, can I ask the question before you answer? Jeez Louise. So you're saying that the United States, a country of 300 plus million,
could monetize in ways similar to the state of Pennsylvania and thereby compensate for revenue that is lost by reducing the income tax, increasing tariffs, and implementing VAT. That's your argument. Am I correct?
Yes, and I didn't
Okay,
say
all right, I just wanted to be clear. No, I said reduce. I just want everybody in the room to understand what the argument is so that they can respond appropriately.
So, DC, I think you're about 33% right. The only thing I agree with you about what could be applied to the UAE is the public-private partnership and the idea that you have innovation occur in the public sector. I do think that the sovereign wealth fund that Trump just signed is geared to actually do some of that.
But wait. So CEO, you've been to So me and you are friends on other platforms. You've been to these countries. They still have a hierarchy who gets what and how much they get monthly, right?
Yes.
And that's in every one of these Middle Eastern countries. They get, if you, and what their infrastructure looks like. I know you have been on the road. I drove vehicles on these roads where you can be in the middle of Kuwait City, you could be in Dubai, but there are areas where you actually have Dubai citizens that are living just above means, but not as bad as the Filipinos they got there, the fucking Africans they got there, that are working McDonald's, Burger King, and so guess what's gonna happen to somebody like somebody like a fucking a wedding planner. His ass is gonna be a fucking wedding planner, and he's gonna get a monthly stipend. He's gonna live in a maybe 2-story home where people have 5.
I'm trying to.
Okay, I'm not.
She didn't say you. She said a wedding planner. Now you have outed yourself as a wedding planner.
CEO, I have taken up for you even when we got in an argument when they said.
I didn't say that.
Patty said that.
I'm not a wedding planner.
Even when I cuss your ass out, I'd be like, TC, don't play with me now. I have cussed you out, and at the same time, when somebody says something about wedding planner, I'd be like, yo, he may be a wedding planner, but he's making his change because you're in a country where you're allowed to make that change. I can tell you if you're in the,
but
if you're
I'm
in
not
fucking
a wedding
Dubai.
planner, though. That's the point.
You just said wedding planner. You outed yourself, and now she's responding to you. If you had just stayed on your mic, we would have thought she was talking about wedding planner Rando 2 doors down.
Check this out, TC. Just because you got a little business,
Sasha,
you're not part of the monarchy.
You in the car, Sasha? I'm going to the gym, man. I'm gonna let this run out, dog. Hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, so they give stipends
Enjoy
to people
it.
get married.
While you
They give money monthly. A lot of these people don't even. And I know for a fact that fucking CEO goes to these countries. I've seen pictures of CEO drinking with some of these motherfuckers. I can tell you, a lot of these mugs, they not even in their country during the hot season. And most of the ones that aren't in these countries, a lot of them use their stipend and live in places like in Europe. They only come back to stay in their free home and during certain times of the year because they may have this celebration where they go stay in a tent and fucking have fucking a small little golf course that they make. They just come home like maybe 2 or 3 months. A lot of them live in Europe. Some of them stay in the States. Some of them may have a little home in Africa and one of these countries that have Arab fucking rant like Egypt or some shit. These motherfuckers, you the wedding planner, bruh. Your ass is not part of the monarchy. You're not the 15th, 20th cousin that can fucking stay in that country all day and run that FedEx. Because I can tell you when it comes to us with the military, I've had conversations with motherfuckers that run the FedEx, the warehouses, and they are like the 3rd, 5th, 6th cousin of the goddamn monarchy. They're not you, the fucking wedding planner, bruh. The motherfuckers that's the wedding planner live in another goddamn country because they know goddamn well they can't afford to just stay there and live.
So I just wanted to point out, AG's question still hasn't been answered for any Western country comparable to ours, but this is like the 3rd or 4th time that he's brought up public-private partnerships and points to the Postal Service as an example. Did anybody hear that? Did I make that up?
I heard that, and I heard that, and
You heard what I said. You didn't make it up.
and liquor from Pennsylvania. So I was gonna ask about the liquor in Pennsylvania.
So
I can answer both. Don't worry, I can juggle both.
I'm not asking you to answer anything. So the Postal Service has reported net losses for nearly 20 years. And this is the example that he continues to bring up when we're having this conversation about how the government could make more money, be profitable based on public-private partnerships. The Postal Service is what he brought up. The Postal Service reported net losses of $6.5 billion in 2023. $6.7 billion in 2022. $8.3 billion before Congress passed the Postal Service Reform Act. The Postal Service ain't been motherfucking profitable since motherfuckers was running around talking about the British are coming. The red coats are coming. And these are the examples that he brings up. He does not have a comparable example to answer AG's question. And then the example that he gives us is an organization that has reported net losses for 18 of 20 years. Why are we even entertaining this?
I want to hear about the booze, man. I want to hear about the alcohol.
So Corey, you're entertaining it because we want to have a
But
conversation.
before we continue, I just want to
I
know,
know.
why hasn't Trump brought down the prices? He said day 1. This is day 18. He said he was going to bring down the prices. How much is eggs? How much is eggs? What's the title saying? $8? $8.
In Atlanta, they're $8, boo. I can post. I'll go.
I want to know where the Trumpers are that voted
Well, he
for him,
reneged on that
who made the
promise.
claim, don't interrupt me, who made the claim that Trump is going to bring down the prices because he cares about the economy. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And then his press secretary said, I don't know. We don't have a timeline on it. But he continuously said throughout his campaign, on day 1, I'm going to bring down the prices. What's going on? The prices aren't going down. They're going up.
Yeah, so they reneged on that right after the election, though.
I'm going to respond to Corey.
That's funny to you, CEO.
So here's the thing about what Corey said. American government, okay, if you're going to use the U.S. Postal Service as some sort of example as to why my point is invalid, it's bullshit. Because the U.S. government is insolvent. The U.S. government is running at around $1.8, $1.9 trillion in deficit a year. So with your example, again, you guys engage in this type of rhetoric, right? You make distinctions without differences. If you were going to say, TC, this doesn't make sense, the U.S. Postal Service is insolvent, but the U.S. government is profitable, then you might have a point. But you're pointing out two sides of the same coin. The U.S. Postal Service might not be showing any profits, but the U.S. government is not showing a profit.
May I ask you a question?
You know why they're not showing a profit, TC? Because you're arguing on this stage just like everyone else.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That want to have this conversation of, they're giving immigrants $1,000 a month, and they not doing. You motherfuckers want tangibles. Isn't that the word? For the last
Corey can't make any tangible
over 100 days tangibles.
Corey can't make any tangible points, Patty, because
TC,
he's trying to create a distinction.
Look. Me and you used to be mad friendly. Am I right? Am I right, friendly?
Can I respond?
We used to be mad friendly. You had my phone number.
Can I
text me when shit was going wrong. You used to defend me on certain conversations.
Everything
So,
changed.
no, shut up. It had nothing to do with that, baby.
You know it had
Okay, I'm sorry, Tiki. I'm not gonna tell you to shut up. I apologize.
All right, Corey, then Saeed, okay? Corey, go.
So TC does this. I mean, my granddaddy used to say, "You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil." And this is the greasiest motherfucker I've ever had a conversation with on Clubhouse. I did not bring up the post office as a model of public-private partnerships that would be profitable and lucrative for the United States government and our economy. You did. You brought it up as an example of something the United States could do and turn a profit. You brought it up. And what I pointed out to the room was the example that you brought up was stupid as fuck, because for 20 years they haven't turned a profit. I didn't set that standard, TC. You did. And we all listened as you did it. I responded because this is the same stupid shit you said time and time again. The U.S. Postal Service is a good example. And then now it's, that doesn't work because the U.S. government is insolvent.
Corey, was the USPS supposed to turn a profit, or is it just a public service?
They were never supposed to turn a profit.
Exactly.
It's always been a public service. And as an example of this public-private partnership, right? We're supposed to let's dive in a little more. Part of the reason they haven't turned a profit is because since 2006, first-class mail has dropped to the tune of about 50% because of digital communication.
Another question, Corey.
Go ahead.
Yes. Do they receive direct taxpayer funding?
No.
Okay, I don't know where this turn of profit came from.
USPS, and even when there have been models presented for how to reform USPS, we still haven't adopted them. The only one was this prepaid mandate on their pensions, because they owed more money, and they were about your grandmama or whoever the fuck be staring at the mailbox waiting for the mailman was about to be fucked with that requirement for pre-funding for their retiree benefits. So in 2022, after much chagrin, Congress finally passed a law saying, okay, they don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
no more pre-funding requirements, bruh.
We wouldn't be talking about this if you didn't bring it up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a better example would be Amtrak, but even though the Amtrak has record revenue, it's still losing $730 million a year. So, that's the closest you're going to get to that level of partnership in the U.S. that TC's talking about. It's still never made a profit in like 50, 40.
Oh, and look,
it's
CEO
not meant
brought
to
it
make
up,
a profit, though. It wasn't meant, CEO. It wasn't meant to make a profit. It was a public service so that we can receive certain things from other areas. It was never meant for that.
I just thought about Amtrak.
They don't even receive They don't receive shit from taxpayers. The reason why prices go up is so that they can maintain. So we are able to receive. We can have a back and forth. They're not receiving They're not receiving fucking. God damn. That was the worst example.
So now they look an example because the government.
I said Amtrak, right? Did y'all hear me say Amtrak?
No, I heard you say Amtrak, and I'm familiar.
You guys are making distinctions. Hold on. You guys are making distinctions without differences. Your point is, you guys are completely lost.
You're making asinine distinctions. That's all.
Your point was that income taxes is better than public-private partnerships. But your point is just as invalid.
Nobody said that.
Who said that point?
Nobody said that.
Nobody made that point.
That's what you're saying.
Nobody
You
said
had PS
that.
was a tangible. You had PS was a tangible, so you could talk to grandma because we didn't have fucking social media.
Can I
That's
speak
what
for
USPS
No, because you're
USPS
nobody
USPS
said
was a tangible that you motherfuckers wanted. We wanted. I wanted. My grandmama wanted. It was a tangible.
Nobody said that about the
You don't
libertarian
have
proprietorship. You said that.
What
So,
you said that?
So hold on, give me a second. Hold on, give me a second. TC actually have.
This is a joke.
Hold on, give me a second, and I know Saeed, you've been waiting for a while. But let me just give you one example. In Chicago, the street parking is owned by the street meters are owned by investors in Chicago.
Yep.
So the mayor of Chicago. Actually, if you want an actual good example, here's one, TC. I'm giving it to you on a little silver
There's
platter.
a lot of good examples.
I see.
But you ain't brought up none of them. So
TC,
down.
Right? Because me and lady had a conversation in back channels. We're trying. She's gonna police me when I act a little gangster. And I'm gonna respect you because we want to fight your argument. But I'm gonna tell you, when these women come off mic, you're gonna respect these women, okay? I don't care. These nappy-headed, my nappy-headed ass, you're gonna respect us when we come off a mic, because they're trying to provide you with some goddamn information. And like I said before, these men are here to protect us from you motherfuckers that are acting like we don't have fucking value.
So the
or whatever, when they want to fucking fight you, we may have stepped back and let them fight your ass. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Stan come off mic, if Lady come off mic, if Deborah come off mic, if any of these women up here come off mic, you better shut the fuck up. That's it. And let them have that conversation, because we're gonna talk to the ladies in the back channel, tell them, hey, we're gonna let them have the conversation, but we're gonna beat the shit out of them because we're women, we're educated. One thing Goat said one day is he didn't want anybody without degrees on here. Guess what? We want you, whether you have a degree or not a degree, we want to fight y'all because we're not dumb. We may not be able to speak as eloquently or sing the songs the way Goat does or fucking.
Oh my God, him Patty, I'ma do it.
He won't come in.
You and Lady can sing because y'all want me.
He won't come in here. So
No.
I got 3 degrees. What are you talking about?
And I got
Let me tell you something. I sat Goat down multiple times in his chair. Goat won't come on the stage.
We not.
You're full of yourself, bro.
Everybody
There's
on
a young man that has been on the stage that has been green bean to protect us. That's not going to happen. Now, I'm not the argument.
Why do you stand by it?
That's it.
Hold on, TC, be quiet. Okay, so are you ready to speak? Sorry, that's still making her point. Sorry, go on mute. No, I'm done with my point. Saeed is next. We definitely want to hear from new voices, new people. So Saeed, and then JP. I don't know if you still wanted to go, but go ahead, Saeed, if you're ready. Sorry about.
No problem. I'm ready, but you said Corey was going to go first. I'm not sure if he spoke already.
No, I'm good. It's you.
Okay. Thank you. So I think the U.S. Post example is exactly exemplary of what I was speaking about. And I don't want to go back to Dubai, for the sake of Dubai, but just to make the point. The United States is a huge country. The Postal Service has to deliver to places where it's just not feasible for a private company because they're going to lose money, to the point that's already been made. Government services aren't necessarily there to make money. They're not there to make a profit. They're there to provide service. Of course, we want to run them as efficiently as possible, and any argument that's made to run the government efficiently is a good argument, as long as it's not sacrificing, much needed services. But that's a great example of why you can't compare a country as big as the United States with a country as small as the UAE or any other small country, because the geography matters the way that the government is spending money. That's one thing. The other thing is that the idea that you should have income taxes and VAT is fine, but then that kind of counteracts the whole idea that you're going to reduce taxes. I'm not sure that that's possible. I also think it's worthwhile to consider, because the subject of budget surplus came up, it's worthwhile to consider that the last time the U.S. was in a budget surplus was during the Clinton years, and it wasn't done by cutting taxes. It was done by increasing taxes on the wealthiest. It was done because there was a boom in the economy driven by technology, which is a direct result of investment in education, which again is something that's being cut. It was done because of inclusiveness. All the companies that were started in the 90s, the tech boom, the Microsofts, the Hotmails, these were started by foreigners who came to school in the United States. The combination of things that the Trump administration is doing, and not just to be anti-Republican, but there are some good Republican ideas, though unfortunately Trump is shooting even those down. Prime example would be PEPFAR. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it wasn't cutting taxes that put the United States in budget surplus. It was actually increasing taxes on wealthier Americans, which still resulted in a boom economy, made some of the best known billionaires that we have today in the 90s and into the early 2000s. So I think you can talk about different ways to fund the government. That makes sense. But most likely what we're seeing is that cutting social services, cutting the services that help the large majority of people, whom if you don't invest in, you're going to end up carrying, removing the idea of having immigrants who provide many different types of labor. And you saw, as soon as the election was over, and Trump and Musk started making arguments for H-1B, the MAGA base got mad, but they know that it's an untenable situation to say that you don't want immigrants. That's really a show to sort of appease the more, for lack of a better, I won't be euphemistic, to appease the more racist nature of some of the supporters. But they know that this is not a viable thing, and I suspect it will disappear from discussion pretty soon. So I just want to make those points that the budget surplus, the last time we had that was because we increased taxes on a certain segment of people and not decreased them, and also because we grew the economy, and the economy was grown based from a sector that required an investment in education, not cutting education. And ultimately, you still haven't solved the issue of welfare. I'm wrapping up. Ultimately, you still haven't solved the issue of welfare, which is a particularly big problem right now because of your demographics. If you have bulges moving upwards, you're going to have less younger people to produce your taxes. So most likely, your taxes may go up, but you're going to get something for it. So I don't think that's really the problem. I just wanted to thank you.
Let me respond to Saeed. Saeed, I think there's a cognitive dissonance in this conversation. And I think the cognitive dissonance exists from the perspectives of the people that's contributing to the conversation. For a guy like myself, and arguably CEO, who comes from a business background, our worldview is a tad bit different. We don't
put me in. You're dissing the whole stage. No, I'm not on board.
I won't presume to. I know you're a coward, CEO. And
TC,
so I'm sure you'll be very comfy in the defenses of the ladies on the stage. So I'll speak for myself. From a business perspective, my view of the government and its taxing practices in the past is not only is it disruptive to American progress, but it's horribly inefficient. It doesn't serve the needs of the citizens and the civilians and the military and all of it. Every single public institution that exists right now from the federal government, that's funded by the federal government, is in a deficiency. Meaning that it's not operating at a net positive or a net profitable basis on an annual basis. Why do you ask the question, why is that? It's because you don't have business people running the government. You have politicians and people in the public sector running the government. So what's my point? My point is when you elect a president, Donald Trump, who has a business background, what is one of the first things he does? He implements DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. He automatically starts taking a sledgehammer to public agencies that are taking the public coffers and spending them frivolously, like USAID. then what do you have? Then you have protests, and you have Democrats standing in front of the government buildings protesting that you better not shut it down. He talks about reducing the size of government from the IRS standpoint. And what do you have? You have Democrats protesting in front of the Treasury building. The president promotes the idea of applying taxes and tariffs on China and Canada and Mexico as a means to negotiate better and more secure borders. And what do you have? You have the Democrat elite and the liberal media pushing back against them. So my point is this. You would not expect a government that's been running a $1.8 trillion deficit to be in any way efficient when it comes to spending the government's funds. But when a president comes in to completely dismantle the completely irresponsible spending of the government, and he proposes things like raising tariffs and raising excise taxes on imports to make us more profitable and more solvent, you guys push back against it. And it comes down to just a basic worldview difference. When I'm suggesting public-private partnerships, I pointed to the USPS, yes, but I also pointed to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, who owns all the liquor in the state of Pennsylvania and contributes about $1.3 billion a year to the Pennsylvania funding base that would not have been there if the state of Pennsylvania did not own
15 seconds.
Now, if you look at the state of Pennsylvania, you'll find that the state of Pennsylvania has been one of the states that's been running at a surplus. At a surplus. Why is that? Because the state of Pennsylvania, even though it struggled with its manufacturing bases, devised a plan to engage in public-private partnerships to benefit the public coffers.
Yeah, so let me respond. I gotta address that. Let me respond. Hello, let me respond. So DC, that actually was a better submission. It was more coherent. The issue I was having with what you said before was that when you talk about changing the revenue base for the U.S., you have to do that over like a 20 to 40 year period, right? That's not like instant oatmeal, you microwave it. You know, that is something that is a slow-moving machine. It can be done, but that's a decades-long project. It's not something that's going to get done in a 2 to 4 year period.
By the way, managed and I had a question about the liquor part. If you want me to understand this one.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can speak that up. It's going to be something until I can.
Yes.
Okay, so you're right about one thing. There is a big philosophical difference in how we view, in our worldviews. I think many people don't believe that the role of government is to be profitable or to turn a profit. That's not government. You know, if government is efficient, the more efficient it is, the better for the country. But it's not. Its reason that isn't to be profitable. It's interesting that you talked about Donald Trump being a businessman. Well, so first of all, Donald Trump is not a good businessman. I think that you have to be willfully inattentive to believe that he is. But it's interesting you talked about him slashing the government. And this is exactly what you see when a private equity firm takes over many companies. First thing they do is they slash employees because what they want is to turn a profit. They're not obligated because of private equity.
You mean a surplus this time? You talking about a surplus?
Did you not interrupt?
I'm sorry, Steve. I don't know what you're referring to. I forgot it. But what I'm trying to say here is that this is the exact sort of behavior you see, sort of cutthroat capitalism, which may have a place in certain circles, but I don't think it has a place in government. The idea that you come in and you slash and you remove people, and this has social consequences as well. Again, a venture capital, a private equity firm doesn't care about that. It doesn't have to. So you can't bring that mentality to government and just say we're going to slash everything. It has consequences in the short term, but it also has consequences in the long term when you defund education. These are things that will come back to bite you in the long run. You mentioned USAID. This is also, it's a bigger picture issue. It's not just about the United States. If America doesn't invest in the rest of the world, in whom it calls its friends, being the wealthiest country on the planet, and not in just trivial terms, we're talking about very large that also comes back to bite you. Part of the reason why you invest so much in global reach, some of it is altruistic, and that's to be credited, but it's also works in your favor. If you pull out of aid in Africa, programs like PEPFAR, which are run in part by the USA, which save literally about 30 million lives. These people will die because it's AIDS, they will die very quickly. It won't happen in some vacuum. China is waiting to step in. I know, I'm from an African country, from East Africa. We see the Chinese arriving every day. Every place where you take your foot out, they put their foot in. Now, if you want to lose that global game, and they are operating pretty well, moves like pulling out of USA are not going to help you. So this is a price you're paying for global dominance. This is a price you're paying for having a foothold on the global economy. This is a price you're paying for having what's essentially the global currency. These are all part of a longer strategic game. It's not some in the vacuum move that you're making. And so the point I'm trying to make here is that there's a sum total game that you're playing. Simply saying we need to cut expenses here and be profitable there. This isn't a company, it's a country, and a very powerful country that influences a lot of things. And if you don't recognize that, then sure, the worldview you carry, you can operate with that. But I don't carry that worldview, and I think the arguments you're making in the context of the larger geopolitical sphere that we live in, and the larger geoeconomics that we live in, I think it's a very flawed view, and I don't think it's worked before, so I don't expect it to work now.
I was waiting to talk to him. All right, so you keep saying profit. I'm guessing you're meaning a surplus, basically, but government take.
I'm using the language of business because he used the analogy of business. So yes. But before I said the last time there was a surplus was during the.
CEO, you in the matrix.
Wait, yeah, CEO, you in the matrix.
Why?
Wait, we didn't hear you, CEO.
Yeah, I'm in an area that's bad, so someone.
So let me respond to Saeed.
Yeah, before you do.
Brought up the point.
Yeah, hold on. Because I just wanted to respond to something you said, and you can respond to both of us. It'd be more convenient. The first thing Donald Trump did when he became president was not go after government efficiency. The first thing Donald Trump did when he became president was pass the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which he did not pay for, which increased the national deficit, and put us in a worse condition as it relates to the tax revenue that the country generates, and the resulting economic investment that was promised as a result of cutting corporate and individual taxes did not meet anywhere near the mark that was promised to justify such an act. And again, I will say, acting as if this is Donald Trump's first presidency, his first day on the job, is a fallacy. The first thing he did was to pass a tax cut for wealthy motherfuckers and corporations that still hasn't been paid for. And today, all of this tax bullshit that we're talking about is furtherance of that effort to cut more taxes for those same people. Go ahead and respond.
They literally had a meeting today to cut taxes again. No, that was a TC.
Important. By the way, we saw what happened with the earlier tax cuts. When he introduced the tax cuts the last time in 2017, the afterwards
Wait, what's going on? What's going on? Corey, I thought you said TC was supposed to be responding to.
Yeah, he hasn't come off his mic. He didn't come off his mic, so I didn't say anything, but between him and CEO, they...
I'd like to respond. The last time that we had a tax cut, a massive tax cut, was the Bush tax cuts. And if you remember that during the Bush tax cuts, it was back in the early 2000s, okay, you had a very robust stimulus as a result. This is the intended effect anytime you have tax cuts, because what it does, cut down on capital gains taxes, and you stimulate economic activity within the U.S., thus boosting GDP. What's the point that I'm making here? You
There are a recession.
can come to the hold on.
It led to a recession.
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, fine.
What happened to
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to go to Tony next, or I'm sorry, CEO was next, but I just wanted to say that really wasn't a good move in the long run. Bush reduced taxes and entered us into a very, very expensive war, which has never been done in U.S. history. No one cuts taxes and then goes to war. Usually you raise money to enter war. So that was a bad move, and then we had the recession, and we know how.
And also he cut, he was the biggest cutter of grants, college grants.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask a question for clarity, like with the chronology, if you don't mind? So we went into Afghanistan in 2001. I've got a question. I'm not, okay, go ahead.
Can you put the question in the chat? Put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm in the cigar lounge, so my bad.
And the Bush tax cuts, hold on, the Bush tax cuts raised the national debt level by 106%.
The national debt has gone up under every single president.
Yeah, it has.
Since FDR.
But it has, hold on, PC. Yes, it has. But guess what? PC, stop. You hear me talking. It went up 106%. To be exact, 105.8. A Democratic president has not come close to that. Barack Obama, the relative percentage of debt increase was less than George Bush. And then in comes Donald Trump and increases the rate of debt again by 39%. Joe Biden comes after that and did not increase the relative percentage. Spent the exact same amount. Okay.
That's not true, bro.
Okay.
That's not true. You're wrong.
Post the source.
You want to bet on it?
Post the source.
Do you want to bet on it?
I'm not betting you shit. Post the source.
Because
how much did
the deficit went down? Hold on.
How much? No, it's my time. What was the amount of increase under the Trump administration? What was the number, TC?
As I said before.
What was the number? It's a direct question. If you don't plan to answer it, don't speak.
Our deficit has grown.
What was the number?
President.
What was the number?
I'm trying to understand. Dude, I'm trying to
asked you a specific question.
You're asking me a different question.
I asked you a specific question.
We're having a conversation, not... Hello? We're just having a conversation.
I asked a very specific question.
Okay.
I have quantified how the question. I have qualified how the question should be answered.
So I'll answer.
Okay.
What was the number?
I'm driving right now, so I can't do research and get you
Okay,
accurate.
so you don't know.
But I'm willing to admit that.
So you don't know.
Wait a minute.
Okay, thank you. PC, please go on mute. Thank you. I appreciate it. The deficit increased under Donald Trump by $7.8 billion. The debt increased $7.8 billion, excuse me.
Yeah, that's why
it's a lot more.
The debt increase, hold on. The debt increase.
A lot more than that.
The debt increase under Joe Biden was 7.9 trillion. I'm sorry, not billion, trillion.
Thank you.
7.8 trillion.
I'm trying to correct you.
I stay on mute. You don't need to correct me while I'm speaking. Are you fucking mad? 7.8 trillion under Donald Trump, not billion. My bad. 7.8 trillion. Under Biden, 7.9 trillion. Relatively the same. Relatively no percentage increase. That's not what Donald Trump did. That's not what George W. Bush did. That's not what his father did. And we've seen this over and over again. So I don't know how or why you're trying to argue something that we know to be fact. That Republicans spend more than Democratic presidents and don't pay for it.
Hey, can I add something real quick?
Can I respond?
I just want to add something real quick.
If I can respond to that really quick.
The level of misinformation, TC.
I'd like to.
The level of misinformation TC is being allowed to spread
I'm very low
without being
questioned. I got it. I'm very low
without being
Here's the
questioned.
thing.
You hear somebody else talking, and you're still asking to respond while you hear somebody else's voice. Why?
You just told me I can wait till you're done to
You
respond.
hear somebody else
And
talking.
then you're going to tell me to be quiet.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll go after him. I'll respond to you after.
Great. Wonderful.
The level of misinformation TC is being allowed to spread without being questioned, like the factual misrepresentations, not the subjective opinions. He's objectively wrong about facts again and again, and he's being allowed to spread this misinformation without being questioned even once. The last
Not
tax
true,
rates were not
Tony. But if you want to go ahead and challenge what he said, then go ahead with the challenge. Because Corey has been disputing it the whole time. He's not getting away with anything. He's speaking, and now you have a chance to speak.
I'm going to ask Tony to hold on because Tony is a new speaker, and TC was supposed to be responding to me and Syed.
I appreciate that, Doctor.
Hold on,
I'd like
Tony.
to respond.
Tony, hold on.
Okay, so what Corey just did, and it happens sometimes, so I'm not going to charge his head, or charge his heart, charge his head. He confused the national debt with the national deficit. Those are two completely different things.
And I corrected that.
The deficit is what more we're spending versus what we're taking in. The national debt, on the other hand, is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars more.
Oh shit!
So to be clear, if you're talking about the deficit, yes, both under Trump and Biden, they raised the national deficit by billions of dollars on an annual basis. But the national debt has skyrocketed, both under the Biden administration and the Trump administration. What I'm suggesting is neither. What I'm suggesting is what Trump is doing is he is addressing some of the pork spending in the budgets that get passed on an annual basis, the spending that gets passed on an annual basis, and he's addressing those expenditures to rein them in because they've run away. It's like a runaway train. You cannot stop it. What am I suggesting? I'm not trying to dispute with you, Corey, to score some debate points. I never said, just to bring it back home, I never said do away with the income tax. What I said was get creative for the government to find ways to be more efficient to serve the needs of the public. When you're looking at our national spending and we're sending $8-9 billion to Politico to subsidize their subscriptions through public spending from the public coffers, there's a problem.
It's for
There's
data.
an inefficiency there. There's a huge inefficiency there. And it would not have come to light had Trump not exacted his revenge on the USAID. And we realize now there's a whole bunch of spending. You know what cannot be accounted for, Corey? In the military spending under the last administration? $3 trillion. $3.8 trillion goes unaccounted for. This is Patty's area. She's in the military.
Focus.
What happened to that $3.8 trillion? It's unaccounted for. I'm talking about the same thing I've been talking about this entire time. It's the world view. It's the perspective. There's a fundamental disagreement between you guys and me on how government should operate. I'm of the persuasion that government should operate efficiently with checks and balances on spending, and it's the executive branch's prerogative to rein in that spending
when it becomes abusive. And what I'm saying is when you have the U.S. military that cannot account for $3.8 trillion, but Saeed wants to sit here and lecture me on why it's a better model to have a public system that is not, devoid of any type of efficient accountability to run at a surplus, then I'd like for you to grapple with the reality that the U.S. military is losing $3.8 trillion.
Grapple with the Constitution, TC. The president doesn't control finances. Grapple with the Constitution, sir.
The Constitution allows.
May I also point out that no, it doesn't. And these are the Constitution. No, it doesn't.
Okay, I hear Corey speaking. Can everybody else go on mute?
The U.S. Constitution does not give the president the authority to decide what or how money is spent. Neither does United States Supreme Court case law. It just doesn't. And if in fact, this administration is representing that it does, that is afactual. We've already had this play out in the Nixon administration with the Impoundment Control Act. We already know this is illegal. It has come up time and time again. That's not the responsibility of the executive branch. As a matter of fact, it is expressly the opposite. The responsibility of the executive branch is to enforce the laws passed by Congress. And appropriations are laws passed by Congress. If he doesn't like it, the new director of management and budget can present a budget to his cohorts over in the House, and they can present the president's priorities and then write it into law. He does not have the prerogative to do that.
So you're wrong.
I have not been able to go for 15 minutes, y'all. All right. So I'm just going to interact with Corey for a second.
I'm wrong.
All right, so
can I ask some? When you get
oh my God. Literally, good grief. Okay.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm just saying.
Okay, thanks. So Corey, just talk to me about how this lines up with the Clinton and Gore reinventing government initiative.
Oh my God.
They were, fuck it.
Sorry, can we hear from JP? JP, sorry. You wanted to say something?
No, we're not silencing anyone. CEO's gonna finish. What?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
What? Why are y'all doing that? Come on now.
He said fuck it, and then he left.
Talking. Yeah, well, he said fuck it because Dr. AG said
But
something
he
while he
left.
was talking.
I'm translating. Sitting your ass and talking over everybody, girl.
Tonight, okay? That's what I'm addressing. Go ahead, JP.
I was just gonna say, when people talk about that money that's missing, I don't know why they say money is missing. There's more tactical equipment, expensive tactical equipment that's missing. And the reason why it's missing is because we still retrograding shit that we got from Afghanistan that been there for 10 years. I don't know if I said it a little bit in the chat, but we sent a lot of equipment over Afghanistan that we couldn't even fucking use. So a lot of that stuff is equipment, right? Expensive equipment, 5.77s, MLRS mics, certain planes, right? We don't use certain shit, we ship it over there. That's allocated in the budget. So when we don't have, when that equipment don't come back, right, properly and accounted for the retrograde operations, that's where a lot of that money is coming from. I mean, that's where a lot of those funds of money is quote unquote coming from. It's the equipment.
And I just want to be clear about something, because again, this disingenuous arguments that are lifted up over and over again. Doge is not auditing the Defense Department. JP, if I'm not mistaken, the Defense Department has failed its last 6 audits. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's correct. It might, and we were. It was like subpar in a few of them before that. Yes.
And what is the largest category of spending that contributes?
You have to look it up, but I want to say it. I forgot what class it was, but whatever that class is for equipment, like I was just saying, it's equipment and accountability, property book.
So, across the board, we have refused to do entitlement reform. And across the board, we have refused to cut military spending. But by all means, motherfuckers sending their kids to Head Start should have to call off of work because we're going to be more efficient this year, okay? Got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on, TC, please. Because I just want to address, I want to just address the link that you posted in the chat. Like, Corey said that there was military spending. Meanwhile, you're saying that Donald Trump is doing a good job by doing all of these cuts, but he didn't do any cuts to the military. So, what was the point that you were making?
So tech bros who get contracts or defense contracts.
Hold on. Donald Trump campaigned on restocking the military from Barack Obama gutting it under his 8 years as president. So yes, military spending did not go cut under the first Trump administration.
Wait, cut it? Like what? Nigga, I'm talking about.
What do you mean by cut? What do you mean by that?
What are you talking about, period? Because I'm talking about the link that you posted was from 2023. It said in 2023, they couldn't find 63% of the $4 trillion budget can't be accounted for in the
Correct.
DOD, right?
Correct.
But when you're giving Trump all his praise, meanwhile Trump didn't cut anything from anywhere in the DOD. He cut from everywhere else. So what was the points that you were making is what I'm trying to figure out.
So I think there's a comprehension issue. I mean, I'm saying it, but it's not resonating. I'll say it again. Trump did not cut military spending because he campaigned on resurging the military after Barack Obama gutted it for the past 8 years. My words are being twisted. I never said that the military lost $3.5, $3.8 trillion. What I said was it was unaccounted for. And the point that I was making is that the government is horribly inefficient. That's why you need drastic changes made to it, which is why I'm a proponent of Doge. And I'm a proponent of cutting spending.
But Doge is they're not cutting anything from the DOD, though.
That's the first thing we've agreed on tonight. There is a comprehension issue, and it's yours.
You don't want this comprehension.
You just said we got DOD spending that's unaccounted for, and they're going to make us more efficient. Oh, but they're not cutting or even they haven't been to DOD as far as we know. They haven't accessed DOD systems to find out where any of this shit is. It's been everything else except for what you just talked about.
And then you said Obama gut the military, but others are saying that he's used too much military power. Which one the fuck is it now?
He does
you
this all
starting
the
to
time.
sound
It's
like
okay.
a maggot. This shit is stupid.
Can I add something real quick, Corey?
I'm actually making points that you guys are not grappling.
Oh, nigga, you're not making no points at all.
No, what you're doing, is creating a narrative. What you guys are doing is creating a narrative on shit that I'm not even talking about. I never said that the military is efficient and therefore Trump should continue on without focusing on the military. You just created a narrative that I never even made a point about that. What I said was it makes sense that a president would come in and apply accountability to government spending and curb frivolous spending. And the point that I made was that referring to Saeed's point about which is a better model to use when applying government spending. Is it a public model that suggests that government systems, agencies, and utilities should not be profitable? Or is it a business model that suggests that we should be applying... Okay, fine. Fuck it. You guys...
Let me just, for clarity, please. Brooklyn, you read the article that TC posted in the chat. Was there something in there about the military, which is why you brought up that?
Yes, because he said that, and I was listening. I wasn't talking. I didn't interrupt anybody. I was literally just listening. Right?
So what did I say that's inconsistent?
And you said that there was 63. No, you said 63% of $4 trillion was missing from the was missing in the budget, right?
I said unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for is fucking missing. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Those are two different things.
Oh my god.
JP just explained to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey,
Unaccounted for.
so if I get in there real quick, so there is not a single dollar in the there's not $1 that in the DOD that's unaccounted for. I don't even know why people keep saying that. Number one. Number two, the person that's responsible for that is not the president, it's the SecDef. So I keep telling people there's not a dollar amount of money that's unaccounted for. It's equipment, expensive ass equipment that's unaccounted for, or having not been retrograded, meaning we don't know what these physical items are. And this is public information. The system by which we manage that is called GCSS Army. We know all the equipment that's been fielded, that went out to the units, that went on out deployments. It's called G Army or GCSS Army. We know that we have equipment, we fielded it to the units. These units deployed, or we sent that shit over there overseas, however we sent it, and it never came back. That's the money that they're talking about.
This guy is a walking, talking, lying machine.
I'm sorry, Tony. Just let me. Can I say something real quick, Tony, please?
I just want to correct the factual misrepresentations that he has been making since at least the last 20 minutes. I'm sure that you want to question your beliefs by listening to the other side, but at least debate on the subjective opinions. He's objectively wrong on like a dozen things. First of all, 2016 Obama budget was the largest ever in the history of United States. He objectively increased the budget as compared to his predecessor, which resulted in the largest budget of till his presidency in the history of USA. At least question this guy on the objective facts he is wrong about.
You're wrong, Tony. You're wrong.
Okay.
Continue, Tony. Go ahead. Hold on. You still hear him talking, PC.
Yeah, but
if you don't see, yeah, he is until he's done speaking. If you don't, hold on, Tony. If you don't see the mic icon on the person's profile when they're speaking, don't touch yours. Anybody. There's no reason for this. Tony, go ahead.
This is just mind-boggling on the level of ignorance that MAGA...
Look, Tony, if you're going to talk, go ahead and dispute what you want to say. Just do that.
Yes, Deborah, I got the point. Yeah, I get it definitely. So first of all, I presented the link in the chat, which states that Obama budget was the highest ever in history. The second point that he raised, the last tax cuts were not Bush tax cuts. They were Donald Trump tax cuts, which were introduced in 2017. Those tax cuts amounted to $1.3 trillion that was lost to the public exchequer. Those $1.3 trillion were given to the top 0.001% of the population. There were research papers conducted after those 2017 tax cuts were introduced. And in 2018, it was found out that not only the jobs did not increase, but the proverbial trickling down of the proverbial trickling down policy also did not work. The not only the jobs not increased, it resulted in decrease in the jobs, and it also resulted in suppression of wages instead of increase in wages. This is a research paper that I am putting the link to. It's by brookings.edu. Kindly review it for your own benefit. And other than the other policy papers, he said that this guy is a businessman and he knows how to run a business profitably. It's an objective fact that every business that this guy has touched during his adult lifespan, he has managed to run it into the ground. If he was not elected in 2016 for the president and did not grift and did not grift from the Saudis of all people, this guy would have been bankrupt by now. The total liabilities of the Trump empire were more than the total assets. The Trump organization was a zombie company. This guy, I can't even begin to count the number of objective lies this guy stated.
So I'm happy to respond. Tony was wrong, dead wrong. You can Google this for yourself. I didn't need to Google it because I know it, because I've had multiple debates on this. President Barack Obama never passed the budget in 2015 for 2016. That's a fact. Okay? His proposed budget never got passed because for the last 4 or 5 presidents, their budgets never got passed. What Congress did is what Congress always does. It passes continuing resolutions to kick the can down the road. And then what happened in 2016 was Congress passed an omnibus bill. Okay? Omnibus bill is just basically an appropriations bill that allows for the Congress to fund the government so that the government doesn't shut down. That's what happened in 2016. So you're wrong on that point. The other point, I couldn't really understand you. I need a translator to help me understand what you were saying. But on the part about the business, Trump having...
Yeah, hold on, PC.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Dude, why are you cutting me off? Like,
I'm about to tell you why I'm cutting you off.
Me on not cutting anybody else off.
I'm about to tell you why I'm cutting you off.
That's real fair.
I'm going to tell you why I'm cutting you off. Because that slick shit you just did, I'm not going to let go. You could absolutely understand what the fuck he said, and you did not need a translator.
Wait, what did he say? What did he say, Corey?
I'm talking. I said stay on mute. That's what I said. Is my allocution good enough for you? Don't do that shit. You could have kept that to your fucking self. But you do that slick, disrespectful shit that's in line with the xenophobia and lack of care for people that the administration you support represents. Shut the fuck up and listen, and you might be able to understand. Go on and continue with your fallacious ass points, but don't do that stupid shit. Attack. I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Nobody's surprised that you're over here having a full meltdown over here.
Listen. We do this all the time. Don't bring them back up while I'm talking, please. Mods. When we ask people to have civil conversations, it includes not being disrespectful because of somebody's accent. When Patty said don't do that personal shit, this is one of those examples. And TC does this shit all the time. Made a comment earlier, slick, about Syed, and I didn't say shit. But you just did that shit directly, and I'm not gonna keep letting it go. Other mods mod differently. I'm not gonna take no slick dick ass shit about xenophobia and accents. I'm not gonna take no slick dick bullshit about sexuality, the misogyny and bullshit. Report it to Patty, report it to the motherfucking owners of the app. But I'm not doing it. So if somebody else wanna talk, feel free. But that's the type of shit that we let go and erodes our ability to even have conversations. and then nobody says anything.
No,
Okay,
I do agree that it was appropriate to speak up, and I wanted to go back to Brooklyn. I don't know that she
Can I
did.
make just a small point?
I'm sorry, Tony, you were speaking. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
And then after you, Tony, Brooklyn, if you still want to speak, you next.
A very small point. Like, it's actually sad and pathetic. I don't feel disrespected at all. But I feel a little bit saddened because if it was some white hillbilly, it would have been understandable. TC belongs.
That was funny for me. That was funny.
TC belongs to the same class of minorities which this regime is targeting. Like, what's sad is that he does not understand that to the white white Christian fascists, he is same as me. They don't see you as a human being as well, and you are just behaving like an Uncle Tom, that house slave that the plantation owners used to have.
I know good and goddamn well y'all not about to mute him now. I know good and goddamn well after that fucking diatribe, Corey, you gonna let him call me a slave? Are you fucking serious, dude?
Also,
are you fucking serious? Somebody on the stage is gonna call this shit out? This man is calling a black man a slave, and y'all not gonna say anything? You guys are hypocrites. You're fucking hypocrites.
Listen, we're not going to put words in people's mouths to make an argument. You're called back on the stage to have the discussion. He did not say that. If we listen to understand versus only hearing, then we'll miss the points. Okay.
Let me. No, first lady, that's not fair because what you guys just did to me. But I did not say anything xenophobic about him. Hold on.
Listen, no, but don't say what you guys, because I didn't do shit. I didn't do anything. So don't say you guys. If you want to talk about it, then call out the person that you want to talk about. But don't put you guys in there, because you guys didn't do
Ain't nobody call you no fucking slave. This is why it's hard. Listen.
I got like 30 seconds because I've been told to put my phone down. So if y'all want to let TC do whatever he wants, go ahead. I'm going to be gone for at least another 30 minutes or so. I'll see y'all in a little while.
Sayonara. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord.
So let me just say this real quick, because I just don't, never mind. I'm not going to take it that route, because I want to have a serious conversation with you, TC. Just, in all seriousness, no trolling, no playing around, two adults talking. I want to know, with all of this fanboying that you're doing, and you don't see anything that's going to be wrong within this administration, can you give me a little bit of insight into the things that you all were promised that's on its way? Is there anything that was promised down the pipe? Now, I know that he did do the tweet saying that he wasn't going to be able to lower the price of the food and all of that, so that's out the door. Did he say anything about the cost of living in any way, more jobs? Can you give me some insight, please?
Two things. Number one, yes, the president has not even been in office a full 30 days. And he's done more in the form of executive orders.
No. See, listen, please.
I'm answering your question.
You're not. One thing that I have ADD for real. Like, I got it real bad. And so it's hard for me to, keep, when you talk around the question, I forget what I even asked you to begin with. So just do answer the question directly, and then you could do your little spill afterwards. But just get to the point, please, and thank you.
What's your question, Brooklyn?
I'm asking you, right? Since we've already established that he's done a lot. He's done all of the things that you all wanted him to do, right? But he also told you that we weren't gonna get lower prices with food and the basic needs that you guys voted for. So is it anything else that he promised you that is gonna actually happen, or was it like a ruse? Like, what was it? What was going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
Anything that every day, anything. Wait, because I know also that you're Donald Duck rich.
Also, son.
So, Duck sounds rich. Is it anything for like the common person, like a regular 9 to 5, or I don't want the responsibility of owning businesses. I'm just a regular person. Is it anything that the 99% of us is going to benefit from? Since you're the Trump expert, I'm asking you directly. Thank you.
So I'm not a Trump expert, but I can answer your question directly the way you asked it to me. 3 things. Number 1, he made a promise that he would get the hostages back. He said that if by the first day he comes into office, those hostages are not released, that there would be hell to pay, that hellfire would rain down. Okay? By the first day he was inaugurated in office, there was an executed deal, ceasefire, and hostage release deal between the Hamas terrorists and Israel. That's number 1 that he promised. That came to pass. Number 2, he promised that he would create massive enforcement to the tune of shock and awe on immigration. And that's exactly what he did. He issued executive orders, deployed the ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, to start rounding up illegal immigrants, specifically targeting those people who've committed crimes. And we've seen that enforcement action. You've seen the New York you've seen the governor of I believe it's the state of Chicago, the state of Illinois, come out and make complaints about how lethal and how targeted his enforcement mechanisms are. So clearly, and California, he promised that he was going to rein in DEI. He promised that he was going to implement policies and executive orders that would put a screeching halt to unfair hiring practices within the federal government. And you've seen those programs, everything from the military to the to other government agencies, like the contracting, the department that handles contracting for the federal government.
Translating yours, Mike.
Remove.
Oh, I'm off mic for a reason.
Completely remove DEI policies from the federal government.
Okay.
So the answer to your question,
thank you. You gave us 3 points, which none of them answered her question. I just want to
through and get something actual prices.
Listen. I don't
How long will it take to cycle through and get something actual prices that Americans are paying to come down?
But I don't have a timeline.
Prices down starting on day 1.
But I don't have a timeline.
How long will it take to cycle through and get something actual prices that Americans are paying to come down?
But I don't have a timeline.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day 1.
Immediately on day 1 is what he said. That's what he ran off of.
Okay, so we're talking about prices, right, First Lady?
All this obfuscating, going around the barnyard, going around and oh, well, he did this and he did that. But the American people were concerned about their dollar. Okay, yeah, you got geopolitics and you say he brought home the hostages. But is your dollar back?
Lied about that as well.
Wait a minute, Tony, chill out. The hell? What is it about my voice that people think it's okay to talk over it? I'm not understanding that. I'm trying to figure out why are you talking about all these other things and the American people who had a problem with their current dollar and the economy have not seen anything. He said on day 1 this is what he was going to do. And you want to talk about all these other different points, none of which helps the American people on day 1.
That's true, and the whole DEI thing with the military. The DEI thing with the military is like a farce. It sounds like propaganda. DEI is embedded in military. I'll give you a quick example, real quick. the drill sergeant academy or drill sergeant corps, right? 5,500 drill sergeants. They literally make.
Like, it's not funny, you guys. It's just really not funny. Am I being too dramatic?
No, it was cool.
No, you're really not. Like, Laura, like, there's so many different.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that I was really blown away when you jumped up on stage because you were really the first person to like get on there and go, okay, wait a fucking second. Is this real or not? Because if it isn't, this is not okay. So no, you did not overreact at all. We were all in there going, huh? What? I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do because who would make a joke like this? So I just wanted to say, I'm sorry to speak over you.
No, you're okay, Elle. Like, for me personally, like, I do not get emotional on this app. Like, I'm not emotional like that. But for me personally, like, after the last month and a half of what we've had to deal with in this freaking, like, it's like, what else? Like, what next? Like, is this serious? Is this real? Like, what is even happening? So even the fact that this had me questioning my sensibilities, I'm not okay with that. I am getting a call right now that I do have to answer, though.
I think a lot of people aren't taking into consideration the fact that we lost Not Brooks. And if you didn't know who he was, I totally get it. But this is somebody who many of us spent hours and hours and hours with, days and days and days with, and got to know on so much more than just a clubhouse level. This is somebody who many of us talked out of causing harm, and we found out that he killed himself with a note. His family found him dead in his home, and that was real, and that was not far away. And so this joke about Roger and then proclaiming that you got off the phone with a family member isn't fucking funny. It's not funny. There's no justification. And the fact that Roger wasn't even in on this makes it that much fucking worse. So I don't want to hear any justification. I don't care how desensitized anybody is because of the crashing out that happens on this app. Playing with death, especially when people deal with individuals on this app on a daily basis who actually die, is fucked up.
Yeah, and when he said to me, you can't tell me how I feel. Oh my God, are you that attention deprived that you have to put that in a title so that you can get numbers and bring people in there? I'm sorry, there's a lot of things people can joke about, but not people dying like that. And him standing 10 toes down was so, like, he's a piece of shit. But you guys need to understand, like, this is not his first rodeo of being a piece of shit on this app, just so you guys know.
Listen, if this was made up, I genuinely thought that Roger was in on it, and it was going to be this grand, finale of Roger coming up with a complete, and I'm not going to say his real name, because there are many of us who actually know Roger's real fucking name. I was waiting for, like, a Roger Mayhem 2.0 to come on stage, and say, surprise. But no, instead, it's been confirmed and validated. Roger was not in on this. And anyone who claims that we're more upset about this than Roger is can suck a dick, because I don't care. There are those of us like myself who fucking broke down in tears. Because when you hear from somebody saying, I got off the phone with a family member, he's dead, that's fucking insane. For those of us who know people, that's a reality check. And then to boom the room without clarification and just say, well, Roger Mayhem is dead. I'm sorry. No. But anyways, for those who also know Not Brooks, yeah, you guys can read the chat. There are so many of us that aren't even recovered from him because that was devastating. So this is not funny.
Which Brad pointed out as well, and I know the person you're talking about as well. It's not very long ago, and I think that might have been the last thing Brad said before the room got boomed.
And let's just go back to the history of Ketchikan, okay, you guys? Like, JB's changed his name.
Let's not. No offense, Laura, but like, let's not.
What is the history with? I'm sorry, I don't know.
Go ahead, Laura.
Why not, Shauna?
Foul. He's such a foul human that we're giving him too much attention.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll just put it to you guys this way, and then you can go with it as you see fit. Let's talk about trafficking women, okay? Now I'm going on mute. Trafficking women?
Hey, yo, Fred, if you're recording, get the fuck out.
He's gone.
I don't care if he recorded me because we all know this to be true.
Well, I know some people don't have it on their profile not to be recorded, so fuck him.
Exactly. Fuck him.
How did somebody know I was recording? How did they know I was
Successful.
recording?
You know, still successful. The first one, was
What up, Nick? How's it going? They kicked me.
Literally to this day. It's
And
just...
do your Jonathan Bing impression. And then to think that Roger could possibly.
Oh, they kicked me. Wait, let me see if I think they kicked me. Oh, that sucks. I need somebody to go in there and live stream the room.
Oh, shit. Which one? The one that Jay did or Debate the News?
No, the one they just kicked me out of where they're talking about JB.
Oh, okay.
Too bad.
Okay.
What
Yeah, they're just going on that sick. They were saying it was a sick joke, and they're all pissed off because everyone that was arguing with him on the stage, he would kick. Like, you know that Laura girl? Her name's like Laura something. She lives in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Karen.
There's a lot of Karens on here.
Yeah, there is. I used to always get into it with her on Debate the News because she's a fucking communist cunt. But yeah, I'd always get removed from Debate the News with arguing with her. Her and TC.
Somebody, Mr. Nice Guy, wanted to say something. Sorry, I'm trying to answer some Bumble messages. Maybe I can get a date tonight.
Oh, hey, do your Steve Appella impression.
Well, actually, let me just go to YouTube and type in Steve Appel, and you can listen for yourself. Like how Steve. Let me just listen to it first. Oh, this is called Gavin Herleman versus Steve Appel. Does the biblical God exist? I think a lot of people actually just have autism, and nobody's diagnosed. I mean, I know it's a joke. There's no such thing as autism. That's the funniest thing.
The Muslim
Maybe
God
there is.
is
Never mind, there is.
God. I suspect the Muslims claim that the Christian God is false, and I know some.
Hey, Pocket, you little white trash piece of shit.
The Hebrew God is false, and clearly, I believe Gavin will stipulate.
One time I had this like lengthy debate with Pockets for like an hour and a half, and then finally she admitted after like a very lengthy debate of grinding her down, she admitted that she's just a political partisan. So this is Roger Mayhem.
Possible that Jules is actually Brent on a burner account.
People will think he's back, and they'll think that I'm live streaming his room. Invite people to the room if you can, Nick. Robert, invite people to the Roger movie.
Brent would say no to an obvious.
There's this dumb white trash meth head piece of shit named Marshall. Hey, Marshall.
The rich folks and not any of the folks that he knew. Brent would say no to a good idea if it walked up and smacked him in the face, essentially.